Do you remember those old YouTube videos where people compared an iPhone or a Samsung phone to a DSLR just to prove how crazy smartphone cameras had gotten or were evolving drastically? However, one phone that always ends up in that conversation is Google's Pixel. So here are 10 major changes that Google Pixel 10 has made this year, which your favorite YouTuber also might have not told you in detail. And literally, Google Pixel is not only dominating with this camera, but what should have been done by Apple with its Apple Intelligence has been done by Google Pixel this time. Interesting. The first big change that we see this year is that the Google Pixel 10 becomes the world's first ever Android phone to adapt the Qi True Wireless magnetic charging technology, which is compatible with Apple's MagSafe accessories. Yes, I did say the A word though.
I can't say that. You said the A word.
And it's quite funny how tables have turned, as most people make fun of Apple for copying Android. However, Android was the one who introduced the wireless charging even before Apple did in 2017. So after 7 years, we can say that Android is circling back to its own roots, I guess. The second biggest change that we see is in the base model, the Google Pixel 10, which also now comes with triple camera layout, telephoto lens included like the Pros, but the main sensor camera drops from 50 megapixel to 48 megapixel unlike the previous one. However, the 10 Pro, the 10 Pro XL and the foldable comes with same camera and same sensor like its predecessors. Apart from this, Google has done a significant job with this camera software this time, powered by Gemini, and my personal favorite is the first one, Ask Photos.
I want to fix the lighting. And I'm gonna fix the framing. So let's put that in.
Okay, you see this kind of sparkly vibe that's going on?
Yep.
That is the Gemini models that work. So they're identifying the people and they're actually changing the background, fixing the lighting, and
oh my God. Oh my God.
There you go.
I'll be real, as someone who spends hours in the past editing photos, this is truly a game changer for me as a creator. Also, my favorite thing about this is I love that there is no need to go back and forth between a bunch of different apps. It is right here on this.
Is Photoshop in trouble right now after this major update? Next is the ProRes Zoom, an exclusive feature only available for Pro variants, which now helps you to take 100x sharp and crisp photos. And you know the magic behind it, generative AI or AI upscale photos. But interestingly, it really works well. But sometimes it messes up with faces and even text. I think that's the only limitation with generative AI right now. And you might be also seeing Samsung versus Google Pixel 10 moon zoom comparison on your feed really soon. And last is the camera coach, which acts as your personal camera guide through assistant, which helps you to take better photos. Like literally, it will suggest the best angle for your photos, the best expression, and even tell you what's the appropriate lighting. That's quite insane, right? But one question that comes to my head right now is that, are photos even photos anymore? Like the photos are not photos anymore. Like the raw essence are getting faded away. It feels like a computer generated image. Just think about it for a moment. What's your opinion on that? Third shift that we have on our list is the design. Oh, sorry, did I say design? My bad. There won't be any major difference when it comes to design in the Google Pixel 10 series this year, as they almost look quite the same, little bit tweak here and there, excluding the base variant, as they have added a new telephoto lens, which just makes the camera bar a little bit extended. And I just want to add this. I have seen a lot of people complaining why the Google Pixel didn't get a new design this year, and I have seen a lot of people also complain why the iPhone, Samsung, or even Google does not change their design each and every year. There is a quite big reason behind it, and I think everybody should know about it. In business, there is something called the S-curve of innovation. Companies push radical innovation to differentiate. Once the product matures, like smartphones today, they move into an incremental phase. Small refinements, improved features, but no drastic changes. It also helps them to reduce R&D cost and giving them enough time to analyze the market for better results. And usually normal people like you and I do not change or get a new phone each and every year, and that quite makes sense though. But in my opinion, the current Pixel design is one of the finest in-hand feel phones out there when it comes to flagship category. The fourth big shift that we see this year is in the processor, and the best part about Android is that you get the same processor from the base to the top variant. Unlike the iPhones, you'd get the Pro version for the Pro variants and the normal version for the mid and the base. It sometimes makes me feel absurd, to be honest. However, this time Google Pixel 10 comes with their in-house made from ground TSMC 3nm Tensor G5 processor, as earlier it was made by Samsung based on Exynos chip. But Jimmy was quite excited after knowing it was a Tensor G5, saying Tensor
Tensor G5!
In case you have no idea what I'm talking about, the Google event was a massive celebrity kind of event hosted by the renowned comedian Jimmy Fallon. So is the Tensor G5 that exciting? Here are the benchmarks. Yes, you do get 60% faster TPU this year, and the CPU is 30% faster than the previous G4, but it performs like the mid-range chip, scoring close to Snapdragon 8 Gen 4. Carl Pei might be having some questions, I guess. But if you talk about the GPU, Google has confirmed that there is no ray tracing. That means that it's not meant for heavy hardcore gaming. But the heating issue has been resolved as compared to the previous models. However, Jimmy gets +1 for knowing what IP68 rating is. Being as a non-techie guy, impressive, Jimmy. The fifth biggest change that we see is for the US audience, that all the devices are eSIM only device. It will allow you to use 2 active carriers simultaneously and can store 8 more eSIM profiles. It might be quite disappointing for some users out there, but it is what it is. So the sixth change that we see is in the display. Now we'll be getting a 3000 or 3000 plus needs peak bright LTPO OLED display apart from the base variant, but all the phones comes with Victus to Gorilla Glass protection from both front and back, and it's truly one of the best displays out there in the market as compared to even Samsung. But I wish they could have added the anti-glare reflective coating on the display. That would have been just phenomenal. The seventh big change that we see is in the battery. All the models from base, pro, and even the foldable get say 5000 or 5000 plus milliamp hour lithium battery, which Google has used in all its previous models. The eighth surprising change that we have is the storage. The base variant starts with 128 and goes up to 256 with UFS 3.1 storage and 12 gigs of RAM, but the pros and the fold goes from 126 to 1 terabyte, which is flagshipy as fast with 16 gigs of RAM. The ninth ultimate shift that can change Google's paradigm in the smartphone industry is Google's AI integration with Gemini. And believe me, I'm not joking at all. The best of them is the Magic Q. As it was demonstrated in the event, it uses your overall data from your phone and gives you a well thought out experience through AI. Example, if you want to send a photo. Now you don't have to hover through your gallery anymore. Integrated Gemini will do the job for you. Same goes for the chat and even your phone calls. Example, you want to call the United and change the flight. Instantly, the Gemini gathers data and represents required information on your screen. I can just say that's dope. You know what's even more dope is the Google 3 Expressive. As I can say, is one of the finest and the most satisfying software Google has ever made. From notifications, sliding your photos from your gallery, or even interaction, feels way better. And one single feature that I thought that could have gone wrong during the event is the live translation. Though it went quite well, but still needs to get polished to reach that level of ascendancy.
What do you think to the weather today?
The 10th but not the final change that we can see is in the Foldy, is that the Google's Fold becomes the world's first ever phone to have IP68 rating. And you may ask, can it compete with the latest Samsung Fold? I can just say, right now, Samsung is a fine piece of beautiful tech. It's kind of irreplaceable, but Google has its own essence. It holds its own position when it comes to water and dust resistance. That is all I can say. So alright, this is the conclusion and my take on Google Pixel 10, and that would be that if you're someone who's chasing for pure performance, then you have other options like Samsung or OnePlus, where you can get the latest chip from Qualcomm. But if you're someone who wants good software or new AI features, totally that can really do your job, not the gimmicky ones. And I have even asked Gemini if someone should shift from the Google Pixel 9 to the Pixel 10. That was a quite true answer. And if you're someone who's genuinely and keenly interested in buying this phone, right now I don't have the phone, so I can't give you the in-depth review of this phone, as I have just 200 plus subscribers on my channel, so budget issues, I can't buy each and every phone out there, maybe in the future. But I have got a plan where you can give you the confidence that should you buy this phone or not, and that is you can watch this video of Becca, and it's one of the finest videos out there and totally unbiased video. If you want to buy this phone because of cameras, you gave an answer totally from this video. And if you're someone who wants an in-depth review of this phone, you can watch this video of Tracking Tech. You'll have your answer from A to Z without any hesitation. So that is all for the day, guys. Hasta la vista, adios. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until the next time, peace out.